So we have closed down casinos more than half. So the floor area, gaming tables, employees, etc. So they are there. A short summary about the number of casinos, gaming tables, slot machines, employees as well. So I think the information is available in our quarterly and yearly reports as well, so I'm not spending too much time on that. Now about markets. Let me do this way, that when we're talking about the market share or competitive environment, of course we are the strongest in Estonia, Lithuania and Slovakia, where we have the quite remarkable market share. And when it comes to Estonia, we have 54% of the market share. One very important thing to mention there is that the second largest competitor, or let's say for us, the first competitor who has the biggest market share is Buffer, representing 17% of the market share. They are actually not operating as a land-based operations. So they are purely connected with Tallink ships, which are running between Helsinki, Tallinn and Stockholm. So they are operating on the ships. So when we are excluding this Buffer from the Estonian casino market, then we are quite close to some 70% of the market share already. So we are the very, let's say, the strongest in that market. In Lithuania, I shouldn't say it, but it's again a ridiculously high market share what we are having, and of course it brings quite expensive measures to increase the market itself or the market for ourselves. So in Lithuania there are, let's say, two competitors, NES and this Tornado. One thing to mention, I have not included to the Lithuanian competitors this B category thing, which is not the biggest player in B category is Tet here under the brand name. This B category slot halls we do not have in Latvia or in Estonia. And in Slovakia we are doing again better than ever. So maybe one thing just to mention here, that we recently opened one casino in the second largest town called Kosice. And after the announcement, or when we published the information, our competitor, Casino Slovakia, actually closed the doors of their Kosice's casino there. So we are really strongly positioned in these countries. What comes to the Latvia, Poland and Belarus, they are representing a bit different story. Of course, from very helicopter view, we are having quite a low or quite small market share, but we can say that we are really strong in the capital, or in Riga and in Warsaw, and Minsk as well. So these countries represent quite a fragmented competition or structure. So there are lots of casinos and lots of players when we're talking about Poland or Latvia. All these, now pardon me, but I'm saying rural areas. And there is no really sense of operating in the small villages of casinos, because the operational expenses are quite high and let's say the profitability is not so good. But anyway, we are the biggest one in Riga. We have the biggest casino in Warsaw, and I mean in these capitals we are doing very good. And when it comes to the Belarus, this does not have too much my attention, because it forms roughly 2% of our revenues. And for me the most important thing is that it's on the plus side, so it's not making losses. And of course, maybe I assume you are aware of what's going around in Belarus. So there are, now maybe the best thing to illustrate is that in mid-December, I got a call from investment banker or from corporate finance guys, and they started to talk about, oh, we have heard that in Belarus there is a hyperinflation, and there is some tricky treatment according to the IFRS books. And what's going to happen? So we have some other clients as well. One is listed in Tallinn as well, and I said, actually, I do not know. And by the way, what an interesting question, because some normal corporate finance guys, they are not talking about IFRS accounting treatment. So yeah, the devaluation in Belarus was last year some 300%, and inflation around 170%, so quite really ridiculous numbers. One of the let's say inherent risks to the casino industry is a regulatory risk, and I'm feeling quite confident about all these markets. So in Estonia we may see some legislative changes which to my best knowledge would not affect us in a negative way. So most probably they are going to change the gaming tax system. So there are two concepts basically. One is you are paying a fixed tax per slot machine or per gaming table. And the other, which is widely recognized in most of the countries, is you are paying some percentage on the revenues. And the tendency is that in Estonia, this will move to the revenue-based taxation. So, but at the end of the day, I think it's not affecting too much us. In Latvia, no really changes is expected, except for they are fine-tuning the gaming law in a sense that this will make more reasonable to operate online casino in Latvia. So what's happening now in Latvia or in the Scandinavian countries is that normally, or it's not normally, everywhere on the online business, the tax is calculated on the revenues. For example, in Latvia, you pay 10% of the revenues directly to the government. Now the question is why I should obtain a Latvian license and operate under the Latvian license if I can do it via the Malta's or Gibraltar license, where you should pay only 0.5% of the tax. Yeah? So it's a matter of the cost optimization. And that's why nobody today is operating under the Latvian license. And the Latvian situation is going to the Estonian direction when they are going to lower the online gaming tax, and they are restricting the access of these Malta's, Gibraltar's, all these licenses. Basically, the telecoms and banks, and they are blocking all these foreign IPs who do not have the access to who do not have the Latvian gaming license. And most probably it's going to happen already from the next year. In Lithuania, the situation is quite interesting right now because there are two draft laws on gaming currently now in the parliament. And of course we are monitoring, we are doing what we can, but now again my feeling is that of course there will be some changes, but at the end of the day I think the market will stay at the same level, or it does not have too much influence on the market participants. And as well, the Lithuanian government is going to the direction, or the parliament is going to the direction that the online regulation will be the same as in Estonia. So IP blocking for all these foreigners and gaming tax some around 5%.